Today, we're taking a look at SketchUp style modeling inside of UModelerX. It's a fast way to shape 3D forms directly in Unity. This workflow focuses on simple clicks and drags, letting you sketch, adjust, and build without slowing down. With tools like polyline, rectangle, disk, arc, and the classic push-pull, you can block out architecture, props, product concepts in minutes. It's a clean, intuitive approach that works beautifully for architecture, interiors, game environments, and rapid prototyping. So in this video, let's learn how the tools work and how you can use them to build a clean, structured model in minutes. Let's jump in and take a look. So in my scene here, I have a pretty blank scene, and what we're going to do is start with a simple box. So I'm going to go ahead and create a UModelerX game object. And in my tools panel on the right side, I'm going to click box, and I'm going to go ahead and click and drag here. Perfect. All right. And so we'll pick up something like this. And then next, what I'll do is grab this face, and I'm just going to kind of pull this back a little bit here, just like so. Now, I think I'm going to establish that this is going to be the front of the house. Now I could change that, but for now, this will do just fine. And I'll also make it maybe a little taller like so. Great. And so next, what I want to do is go ahead and grab the loop tool, because what we want to do is start with the concept of SketchUp modeling. We want some lines so that we can start establishing what is important. So the loop tool is going to allow me to establish where my roof is going to be. Now in the tool properties, I have this here. I'm going to change this to 0 so that it's going to be completely centered. Now we can create splits if we want, but for now, just a single down the middle will work. So I'm going to click, and that's going to create that just like so. And that works great. And so now we have this split down the middle. This is going to serve as our roof. Now what I'm going to do is go into vertex mode, just because I'm just going to bring this down just to make it a little shorter, like so. And I'm going to go into edge mode and pull this line up. So I'm going to select this and pull it up like that. Great. And so now we have a house. Well, not quite. It's almost there, but we have a few other things that we would like to do. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go into the next tool, which is the rectangle tool. Now, this is great because we can draw this shape directly on this mesh. Now, if your object doesn't draw directly on here, so if your rectangle doesn't draw directly on your object, you want to make sure that your object has a mesh collider. All right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click and drag this out, and I'll do something like so. And I'm just going to click and drag and let that go. Now, what's great now is that now if I select the face tool, we have separate faces for this. So next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and click this face, and I'm going to extrude it by holding down the Shift key, and I'm going to pull this out. And this is going to serve as like an additional room in the house or another area. Now we can create multiple spaces like this for this house, but for now, this is going to be the only one. So what I'll do now is grab this face here and just go ahead and make that a little longer. And now we have something like this. Looks pretty great. Now what we want to do is create a loop for this part as well. We want this roof to also go up. So there's a couple ways to do it. We can try a couple different tools to approach it. Now what we can do is try to use the loop tool. So that's one way to go about it. We can just use the loop tool, and as you can see, it kind of creates a loop just for this part. If I click, that does work properly. But what we do need is a line on the other side. So we can do something like this. But what I would want to do is maybe click and move it like that. That would work as well. That's an option that we can take. I'm going to go back, but another great way to approach this is using something like the slice tool. And the slice tool is great because we can actually change that as well. So we can use the slice tool, and the slice tool is going to allow us to cut directly through the whole mesh like so. And if I see is that's what it's going to create there. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. So what I'll do is go ahead and hit split only. Now we have other options like split and fill hole, remove above, remove below. Now we did remove above. If we hit cut, it's going to remove everything on this side, and that looks great, but that's not the goal. What we want to do is just do split. So I'm going to do cut, and there we go. And so now we have a clean cut all the way through our house there. So what I'm going to do now is simply select this and move it up. But before we do that, what I'm going to recognize is that we need this roof to bend here, and we need it to bend here. And again, back to SketchUp modeling, I want to make sure these lines are there. So what we can do is select the edge tool, and I can actually select this edge and this edge, or this vertice here. And there's a tool called Connect, and we can actually create a line from there to there. But we also can take the polyline tool and select that poly and this one and do the same thing. Now, depending on how you want to approach it, that's completely fine. But for now, I'm going to be consistent and just go ahead and use the tool that connects and creates that. So now I'm going to create that roof for this portion of the house. So I'm going to click that edge and pull that up. And so now you can see how that creates that roof. And just to make sure that it's completely straight, we just want to make sure that it lines primarily right where we need it. All right, great. And so that's looking pretty good. It's not too bad. Now we can continue to make additional rooms if we want to, but I think for now, the demonstration is simply understanding how you can approach SketchUp style modeling with just simple boxes and edges and extrusions. But what we want to do now is use some other tools. So for instance, what we want to do is take that same rectangular tool and make some windows. So what I'll do is take this rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a window here on the side like that. And you just click and drag, and we'll do something kind of small and simple, just like that. And then what I'm going to do now is take the polyline tool and click here, and then click here. And that's going to create that. And we want to just make sure that we're no longer doing that. And then we can do the same thing to this back area as well. Perfect. And so now we have that line. So that looks good. And so what I want to do now is create a door. Now this is going to be our front. So I'm going to actually delete this line. And just like so, and then I'm going to go to the rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a doorway. So doors, generally speaking, are about 1.5 meters. So I'll do something around that. So just like that, and I'll let go. And so now we have a door opening there. And also what I want to do is create an arch above that door, or window. So what I can do is take our arch tool here. And the way that that works is if you click and then drag, and then once you click and drag and then let go, you can actually create an arch like this. So depending on what you want to do, this will work just fine. And then now we can actually address this and move it around if we need to. So that is great. So far, so good with our house and our window. We want to create some additional windows. We can go ahead and take the rectangle tool and start adding some more details. Some houses have this like side window for looking through. That works pretty good. And then others have other windows. But for this one, I'm going to create a window here as well. And then what I'll do is create a window here, which is a little bit longer. And then for this side, I'll create something like this. And then another one like so. Great. So that looks pretty good. It's consistent, and I think we have something there. Now, another thing I want to do is create another door, but this is going to be a back door. So what I'll do is create a side door. So we can do one or two things. We can put that door here. We can put it in the back. It's completely up to you. But just for reference, I'll just probably go ahead and put the door here. So I'll create my rectangle, and this door could be a little wider. Maybe it could be a sliding door. So I'll just click and drag. And there we have it. We have the back door, and I can still adjust these if I need to. Great. Everything is looking pretty straightforward. All right, and then I can delete this line here. And at the top, what I may do is use our disk tool and create a circular area here, just like so. And then you can always go into tool properties and actually change the segments if you need to, depending on how round you need it, but I'll just keep it on 12. That works out pretty good. And just because I want to reposition it a little bit, I'll just go ahead and move that down like so. Great. So now we have everything we need for this house, and this is pretty much your SketchUp style modeling. Now we could use other things like the push-pull tool, but for now, this is going to work. Now for the push-pull tool, just to give you an understanding of that, what we can do is create another game object. And to demonstrate how the push-pull works, I can actually select create this box, and I'll go and use the rectangle tool here. And just to show you that the push-pull tool is also very useful. So I'll click this push-pull, and I can actually select a face and push all the way through, and actually creates us a nice hole there, and we can actually continue to do that. All right. And I'll go ahead and just delete that and get back to our house. But now what I want to do is go ahead and select all the faces of this house that we created, like so. And I'm just going to go ahead and click here, here, and here. And I'm just simply going to hit delete on the keyboard. Great. And so now we have a house here that looks great, and we can continue to build on this house using just very simple drawing tools, just to demonstrate how SketchUp style modeling could work in UModelerX.